It is winter, and in this video I want to share my winter efficiency metrics for my Tesla Model Y and a few winter driving tips as well. I've driven over 1,000 miles so far this winter in January 2024. This includes driving during a snowstorm, a road trip to go snowboarding in Vermont, and both highway driving and city driving in cold weather with lots of salt and slush. That's why my Tesla looks so dirty right now. The Trips app in the Tesla screen. On the Trips app in my Tesla screen, you can see that the computer is tracking the current day's driving activity. I also track the driving activity so far in 2024 and the driving activity for my total ownership period. The 2024 activity shows that year-to-date in 2024, I've driven 1,076 miles so far, and I've used 318 kilowatt hours of energy. This equates to an efficiency of 296 watt hours per mile. This is roughly 12.2% higher than my overall average efficiency of 264 watt hours per mile, as shown in the total metrics section. This is because the car is less efficient in the winter due to lost energy heating the cabin, the motor, and the battery. Also, the electrons in the battery just don't like to move as fast when it's cold outside. The efficiency is much worse during road trips on the highway, because on highways I'd be driving at a steady speed for a long time and my regenerative braking wouldn't kick in and wouldn't create any extra power. In contrast, in the summer, and my efficiency is closer to 230 to 240 watt hours per mile. Please note that these metrics are just power used for driving, and it doesn't include power used for other things, such as when you're parked, preconditioning, climate, or sentry mode when you're parking. Do you drive a Tesla? And if you do, what does your trip apps show for efficiency in the winter? The Energy app in the Tesla screen. The Energy app in the Tesla screen is a very useful app to show you where your energy is going in the last drive since the last charge. So it kind of tracks, your activity since the last charge for the last day or so. You can toggle between two types of units, percentage of energy or miles. The pages show that driving has used about 96 miles since my last charge. However, I've used an extra 20 miles on other things like climate, battery conditioning, and other things. Also, if I toggle to the park activity page, it shows that I've used an additional 22 miles on preconditioning and sentry mode while the car was parked. This means that although I have only driven 95 miles today, I've lost an additional 42 miles, or 44%, on other things. This also happens in warmer weather, but in warmer weather, preconditioning and sentry mode would use less energy so that the lost energy would be lower and the metrics would be better. The Charging Activity app in the Tesla app on my iPhone. The Charging Activity app in the Tesla app on my iPhone shows a larger amount of power usage in total. That's because, so it shows what I've used so far in January. This app shows that I've used 416 kilowatt hours. That's more than the earlier app. I'll add another 34 kilowatt hours for the driving I did today, and that equates to a total energy usage of about 450 kilowatt hours. I've driven 1,076 miles in 2024 so far, so this equates to 418 watt hours per mile. That's a lot of energy, but that's because it includes all the other energy drain from preconditioning and sentry mode, and it also encapsulates the energy usage while the car is plugged in, for example, while it's preconditioning in the morning. I believe on average my Tesla charging app shows about 360 watt hours per mile. That's when I measured that same metric in 2023. So 418 is about 16% above average due to all the winter and cold weather driving. The Teslas, running in cold weather. I've read a few news articles this month about Teslas running out of power and having trouble charging at the superchargers in Chicago in extremely cold weather. You might have seen those articles on the internet. It's a little bit of sensationalism, but I'm really sorry that this happened to those drivers. Some of those Tesla drivers discussed how they arrived at the superchargers with low batteries and were unable to charge due to the cold weather. I can see that happening, with a cold battery that's almost empty, without preconditioning. The charging would take so long to get back up to capacity, and that was what was happening at these superchargers. I would imagine that the cold impact was certainly one factor, but perhaps some of those users would really benefit from some winter driving tips for Teslas and other electric vehicles. Winter driving tips. So, how do I try to improve my range in the winter? There's several tips that I try to use. Preconditioning while you're plugged in to warm up the car and the battery without affecting the range in your battery. So that uses the plug. When I go to superchargers, I try to plug in the supercharger as a navigation destination so that the car will precondition before it arrives for faster charging. Always be charging. So always try to charge when you can, preferably in a home garage or in a driveway, and charge to the recommended percentage. For my Tesla, it's 80%. For other Teslas, it might be a little higher, like 100%, depending on the battery that you use. On long road trips, plan ahead where you want to charge so that you arrive at your destination with a good state of charge. Don't arrive with like 10% or 20% because when I'm in Vermont, for example, I want to still use my car. Turn off sentry mode, or at least turn it off for home and work locations. I try to drive at slower speeds to decrease air drag. I try not to speed above 70 miles per hour. I also try to turn the car on chill mode in the winter for smoother acceleration, and I try to use comfort mode for steering. I think that helps a lot for saving energy. Also, you can try to lower your climate temperature set point. I don't. I keep it at 70 degrees because I'm from the Philippines. Or if you're really desperate, you can use the heated seats and the heated steering wheel instead of the AC. These are all just suggestions. Do you drive a Tesla? Please share any friendly tips or friendly ideas on how you save energy in the winter. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click like, comment, or subscribe. I have other Tesla videos that you may enjoy. In closing, here's some before and after footage of the car going into the car wash. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Bye.